Good morning, Don Pelayo here. Sunday, June 22nd, I think. Yeah, today's the 22nd of June, 2025. I just topped off my gas tank this morning. Gas was still reasonable this morning. I'm expecting that to spike up tomorrow morning, probably when the market's open and all. Actually, we might see those prices change sometime today with everything going on. I've been thinking overnight. I was thinking about what am I going to do with my investment portfolio. I do think about that a lot. And I said to myself, I do trade in and out of positions probably more frequently than I need to, based on what's going on, and a lot of times they try to dissuade you from doing that, but I feel like I have a good handle of it, and I watch it very regularly, so I feel fairly comfortable doing it. It's generally worked out for me. Occasionally it doesn't, but more times than not, it does work out for me. On Friday, I had sold out of some of my metals positions, and I'm trying to decide how to reallocate those dollars. I had money in both a gold and silver ETF, and I liquidated. I still have I still have a solid portion of my IRA in metals, but I'm just reducing how much I had allocated to metals. I noticed that the S&P 500 was up only about 1.69% on the year. My portfolio in my IRA is up a little over 5% on the year, so I'm more than triple the S&P 500 on the year, so I feel pretty good about that. If you can beat the if you can triple what the S&P 500 is doing, you're doing pretty good. So, and a big part of that was being in the metals, because gold and silver have done very well this year. But I feel like it's time. I need to back off the throttle just a little bit on the metals and reallocate a little bit of those gains to back to stocks. I think stocks will likely do better than what they've done this far in the year. Here's the dilemma I'm having with everything that's going on now. It's like, well, do I buy just a regular index fund, or do I dump money into energy stocks? I feel like we're going to see probably a spike Monday morning in energy stocks. I think that's probably a pretty good bet right now. I'm going to allocate at least some of that money toward energy. I'm not sure if I'm going to put all of it in there. I'll probably put a portion and then just allocate the rest of it into some of my other positions. I had also put a chunk into a stock that I've been trading in and out of. There's a company called D-Wave Quantum. This is not a recommendation, because I'm going to tell you right now, this is highly speculative and risky. But there's a company called D-Wave Quantum. They are building quantum computers, which is kind of like very, very, very extremely high-tech, the top-of-the-line type computers. Only like governments and corporations may use these type of computers. Anyway, so they're invested. That's what they do, and I've been watching this company since it was down like around $5 a share. Right now it's like $15 a share. It had gotten up as almost to $20 a share. I have bought it, sold it, bought it again, sold it again. I've been trading in and out of it, and I've done well with that, actually. And it's gone down, it was up at like 19 something, and it's gone back down to 15. And so I'm buying back in at 15 with the thought that it'll go to 20 and I'll sell again. That's how I'm playing it. Again, not a recommendation, just telling you what I'm doing. The remaining funds I was going to just put into some of my ETFs that I have in my portfolio, just standard good old ETFs. I have a Schwab Growth ETF, SCHG, and I have a dividend one, SCHD. I have both of those in my portfolio. I was going to allocate some of the funds to those. I also have a JP Morgan large blend, kind of an S&P 500. It's a BBUS, and I was putting. I like that one because it's basically the S&P 500, and it's only 2 bips, 2 points, 2 basis points expense ratio. So it's very low expense ratio, and you're basically buying into the S&P 500. It's like just a blend. So I've bought into that, and I can't remember what else I'm in. I'm still got metals in there. I've got I have a international equity fund too. It's a Vanguard VEA, which is just a international fund. European markets have done pretty well this year. I think there's a bit of an anti-Trump thing there. I think people that would have been investing in American markets have been putting money into European markets. More of it just an anti-Trump thing than anything, and that's fine. It's like, so I look for opportunities where I can find them. Except I have a couple of exceptions to that. I refuse to invest in China. I don't put any money in China, or try my best to avoid it as much as possible, just because I don't trust the Chinese. I don't trust the CCP. The Chinese people seem like decent people. It's just their government that I don't have much confidence in. So, anyway, so I'm just kind of thinking and mulling all that over. I'm going to make my final moves. I'll probably kind of come up with my final decision tonight, and then in the morning I'll place those trades. I'm a little bit concerned on where things go from here. Iran's not going to just let this go. Now, it's possible they keep things regional over there in the Mideast, attack some U.S. bases over there. That, there's still shooting rockets over into Israel. But what are the chances that they activate sleeper cells here in the United States? That's my main concern. It's kind of sad. I think 80% of the American people didn't want us to get involved in this. I don't think very many Americans wanted to get involved in this war. I think we're all sick of Mideast wars. We're tired of the Middle East, tired of the whole thing. At the same time, there's a big group of us that, and myself included, that realize that we're not privy to all the information that the government has. And I know that for a long time they have said they don't want Iran getting a nuclear weapon, and I think they just had I feel like they were getting very close, and the government began to feel like they had no choice. And I don't think Trump wanted to do this, to be completely honest with you. I don't think that he really wanted to have to do this. But we got to the point where we had to act. So that's where we are, and we'll just see how it plays out. I would say, just say probably for the next few weeks, everybody needs to keep their gas tanks topped off as much as possible, because we're probably going to be seeing gas prices go higher. I'm hoping that it's just a 10-15% jump, rather than a 50% jump, and it depends on how it plays out. If they shut down the Strait of Hormuz, we could see a pretty big spike in oil prices. So we'll just see how that plays out. That's really Iran's primary weapon they have against us, is the control of that strait. So we're just going to see what happens, and I'm getting ready to go over to my parents' house this morning. It's Sunday morning. I do my typical visit with my parents, and I'm sure we'll be talking about all of this. My mom wants me to help her with her computer. For those of you that were not aware of it, there was a major hack, or a lot of passwords got exposed. Google and Apple and a lot of these companies, some hackers were able to access like 16 billion passwords or something like that. Google and Apple. There's a few others. You might have to look into it to see exactly if you're affected or not. So she wants me to help her change all of her settings there, and so we're going to take care of that. But anyway, you guys have a great day. I'm going to get going, and this is Don Pelayo checking out.